So next we're going to add our first enemy to this platform game. And to do that, we're going to add a game object for the enemy using the asset pack. Then we're going to look at a couple ways to use behaviors on that enemy by using events to help the enemy patrol back and forth in this area here. With this setup, the enemy can actually patrol wherever we put it within the map. So that would be our goal through this lesson. So I'm going to take a moment and add my enemy. Now that I found my asset pack, I'm going to go to the enemies folder, and I'm just going to select the slime enemy to work with and add it to my scene. Now that I have my enemy, I'm going to add some behaviors. So I'm going to double click on my enemy, and the two behaviors we're going to work with is the platform character, and once we add that, we're going to disable default key controls and unchecked automatically grab ledges, and unchecked can go down through platforms. Of course, you can always enable those if you really need them. We're going to add right here one more behavior, platform character animator right here, and always keep in mind how things may be declared from the animation. So I know there's going to be walk, and the idle for this is rest, and we can double check that by going to properties here and see that there's walk, flat, and rest. Perfect. Make sure horizontal flipping's on, and that animation changes will do what it wants. So now I can add by dragging and dropping my enemy to the scene. Now I want to take note the direction the enemy is facing. Right now the enemy is facing to the right, and to change that I can go over here and click on flip horizontally. Knowing this allows me to think through different ways I can control this enemy using events, so that when the enemy hits this edge, it will flip horizontally and keep going this way to the next edge and keep moving back and forth. So to utilize this, I'm going to go up to events. Now I'm at events. I'm going to add my first event, and I'm going to think about that enemy horizontal. So I'm going to search for that horizontally flip, and by inverting this condition, now I'm going to see that it's false. So right now it is not horizontally flipped. So what is it going to do? I'm going to click on add action, and I'm going to use that platform character behavior by simulating the right key press, because when the character is not flipped, it's facing to the right, so we want the right key pressed. Now I can select this, right click, and do copy and paste and reverse these conditions. So double click, invert the condition, and instead of right, we're going to go with left. Now we have that set up for the slime. We're going to click preview and see how this works. The character moved to the right, and then it came to a rest. And seeing this gives me another idea of how I can communicate to this, because I need the ability to know when the enemy is hit an edge to flip it. And the fact that it actually goes to the rest position is very valuable. So now with my events, I can actually watch for that event. So I'm going to click on action slime, and I can look for animation by name to rest. And now I'm going to create a sub event. So the way to create a sub event is with it highlighted, we go up here and we're going to click on sub event. And now I'm going to watch for what key is being pressed. So if it's being pressed right, so simulate on the slime. So if right is being simulated and it hits the wall, then I want to flip it horizontally because I want to turn it around the other direction, which means now it's going to face left. So when it hits the other wall, again, I can copy and paste this condition and just change the values from right to left And I actually want that to be true so that when it hits the rest, and if the right key is being pressed, then flip it, which is going to send it to the left, and when it reaches the rest animation, going to switch around, go back to facing the right, which is why I returned it to false. So now let's test this. There we go. The moment the slime hits the wall, it turns around and it keeps patrolling. Awesome. So now we notice the animation's running fast. Now think about how we adjusted animations with the player. Take a moment and adjust the frame rate for the animation to the slime. Now I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to go to my scene, double click on the slime here, go to the walk animation, and just switch it to 4, which looks about right, and click apply. That looks really good. So now we've added an enemy to our scene and it is patrolling, which means we're ready for the next step.